Dress, chapter 117, entitled Excellence of Wearing White Clothes and the Permissibility of Wearing Red, Green, Yellow, and Black clothes made from cotton, linen, but not silk. Allah the Exalted says in Surah number 7, verse number 26, of which the meaning is, O children of Adam, we have bestowed raiment upon you to cover yourself, screen your private parts, and as an adornment, and the raiment of righteousness that is better. Also in Surah number 16, verse number 81, of which the meaning is, and Allah has made for you garments to protect you from the heat and cold, and coats of mail to protect you from your mutual violence. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma reported, I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, put on white clothes because they are the best, and use them for shrouding your dead. Or Tirmidhi and Abu Dawud. Samura radiallahu anhum reported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, wear white clothes because they are the purest and they are closest to modesty, and shroud the dead in it. An-Nisa'i and Al-Hakim. Both these hadith tell us that white clothes are fine and likable and are especially recommended on Fridays and all other occasions except on Eid Day, where new clothes, if any, are recommended. The purity and beauty of this color befits the dignity and honor of man. Bara radiallahu anhu reported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was of medium stature. I saw him wearing a red mantle. I have never seen anything more graceful than that. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. On the basis of this hadith, some argue that red dress is also allowed to men. Imam al-Nawawi seemed to hold the same view. However, many ulama believe that the dress of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not all red but had red stripes. They therefore maintain that the red clothes which women wear are not permissible to men. Some ulama think that a ruling on this issue will be on condition of space and time. If at some place disbelievers or women are found of this color, it will be banned for Muslim men because its relevance of disbelief and womanish. Yet it will be allowed to Muslim men in a contrary situation. Opinions also exist that the indoor wear of red clothes is permissible to men and forbidden in public. To sum up, the red colored dress is not itself a taboo with regards to men. A ruling on it will be conditional in accordance with the situation. For example, in the Eastern society, the red colored dress is usually worn by women and is peculiar to brides on the occasion of wedding. Men are therefore banned to wear it. Allah alone has the true knowledge. Abu Juhayfa Wahb bin Abdullah radiallahu anhum reported, I saw the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by Al-Abta valley in Mecca in a red tent made from tanned skin. Bilal brought him ablution water. Then the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came out wearing a red mantle, and I can still remember looking at whiteness of his shanks. So he made his ablution, and Bilal radiallahu anhu pronounced the call for prayer. I kept following the movement of Bilal's face to the right and to the left when he recited, come to the prayer, come to success. Then a spear was fixed as a sutra in front of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who then stepped forward and led the salah. Dogs and donkeys passed in front of him beyond the spear, and no one prevented them from doing so. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Al-Abta is the name of a place which is also called Muhassab Valley. Lexicology, Al-Abta means a sloping ground, since it was the passage of rainy water owing to its downward slope. It came to be known by this name. Here the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam encamped in a tent. This hadith provides for wearing red colored clothes as mentioned in detail in the preceding hadith. Second, it points out an issue concerning the ritual salah. The worshipper should place something before him as a symbol of obstruction, sutra, so that somebody who goes past him may not divert his attention. Yet there is no harm if the passer is an animal. Abu Rimtha Rifa'a at-Ta'mi radiyallahu anhu reported, I saw the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wearing two green garments, Abu Dawood and Tirmidhi. Here we see a provision for wearing green colored clothing. Jabir radiyallahu anhum reported, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam entered Mecca on the day of his conquest, and he was wearing a black turban. Muslim. Abu Sa'id Amr bin Hurayz radiyallahu anhum reported, as if I am seeing the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wearing a black turban, and both ends of it are falling over his shoulders. Muslim. Another narration is the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was delivering a khutbah wearing a black turban. We conclude from this hadith that one can also put on black clothes, black colored dress, turban, and covering. Muslim scholars have said that it is a desirable act, mustahab, to wear a black turban after defeating the enemy. Aisha radiyallahu anha reported, the body of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was shrouded in three white Yemeni cotton garments, among which was neither a gown nor a turban. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. The shroud of a dead body consists of three simple pieces of cloth to the exclusion of a turban, shirt, and izar. It is better for the shroud to be white. Also, Aisha radiyallahu anha reported, one morning the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went out wearing a black blanket made of camel's or sheep's black hair with patterns of camel bags upon it. Muslim. This hadith tells us that one can wear a black woolen cloth with the woven image of an inanimate object. Al-Mughira bin Shu'bah radiyallahu anhu reported, I was with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a journey one night, and he asked me, do you have any water with you? I said yes. So he dismounted from his riding camel and walked away to answer the call of nature until he disappeared in the darkness. When he returned, I poured some water from a vessel, and he washed his face. He was wearing a long woolen cloak and could not take out his forearms from his sleeve. So he brought them out from below the cloak, and then washed them, and then passed his wet hands over his head. I stretched out my hands to take off his leather sock, but he said, leave them. I put them on after performing wudu, and he passed his wet hand over them. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Another narration is the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was wearing a Syrian cloak with tight sleeves. Another narration is this incident took place during the Battle of Tabuk. Here also we have justification for wearing woolen dress. In order to answer the call of nature, one is supposed to get out of people's sight. Instead of washing the feet while performing wudu, one may simply pass wet hands over the socks or stocking if these have been worn after the performance of wudu. A non-traveling person is allowed this facility for 24 hours, while in case of a traveler, this period is extended to 3 days. However, in case of sexual impurity, one must take full bath. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Jazakallah khairan.